Yeah, he is.
Show us here locally in the community. Make sure y'all go check out New Cat Body by Jeremy Foom.
All right, good morning. It's Lion Talk with Smokin, Jeremy B. And holy shit, Von Doom's back. Welcome back, brother.
Welcome back to me. Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Well, Dan Campbell got his guy. He worked with him when he was an interim coach in Miami. He also had a brief stint, I think, in one of the first 2 years with the Saints. Terell Williams, who's currently coaching the American squad at the Senior Bowl and working with possible future Lion that I've talked about already, T'Vondre Sweat, who's looking like an absolute manimal down there and be the perfect complement to Ali McNeil. We signed him to be our D-line coach and run game coordinator, which I find that part a little interesting, that he's a run game coordinator and a D-line coach, but he's here. So I'm happy. Good morning, Fred. Good morning, Dwayne. How are you guys doing? Let's go Detroit. One pride, North Division champions. Yeah, we know, and we're proud to say it. And we should be. Oh, damn, that hurt. Time for a cough drop. So, Leonard, what do you think about that signing?
I think you should have got a secondary coach instead, but that's beside the point. It's a good signing.
Well, when you switch secondary coaches 2 years in a row, you can't expect a lot of growth the first year. I'm going to say that right now. I want to see what Dre Bly does this year before I get rid of him. But at the same time, Douglas Keith, restore the roar. Good morning. Good morning, Douglas Keith. I'm going to ruffle some feathers again. AG, even though the defense overall got better and a little better in the scoring defense, we only got better because the talent got good enough to stop the run. The passing game is actually the same or worse than it has been the last 2 years. And yeah, our secondary is atrocious, but if the front seven's able to stop the run and do all that and all the pressures this line was able to create, and we run predominantly a zone, shouldn't the secondary have improved just by accident? And that's why I'm praying to God. The only job left now since Mike McDaniels, defensive coordinator of the Baltimore Ravens, is the head coach of the Seahawks, is that AG either takes the head coaching job to get us the comp picks we need for next season, because that's what it is. It isn't the same season you're in when they're hired. It's the next season you get them. So, well, we would get a third and a fifth rounder if he becomes a head coach. Washington, sign this man. You need him. And that or Leonard, your Giants need to hire him.
Yeah, you need to hire Kenny Golladay to just be your best friend and walk around behind you all day.
I'd hire him to be the assistant wide receiver coach. He can tell people how to make a contested catch at least. Then Josh Reynolds might not have dropped the ball.
He is a product of Matthew Stafford.
Yes, he is.
Fuck that guy.
Both of them, right?
Golladay, Yeah, no, Stafford more than Galladay because Stafford made him look good. So the Giants freaking spent stupid money on him because our GM was a freaking dipshit.
And then you didn't waive him. You just cut his ass, so you had to pay him the next year too.
Yeah. So, like, Dave Gettleman, I don't know what the hell was going on. I'm thinking maybe the chemo treatment got to his brain at the end of there because explain Galladay. And how the hell do you give Jonathan Stewart 2 years at $10 million?
Oh, I like getting that winner going about Galladay because it's fun. And he brought him up this time. I didn't have to say a word. It makes it great. But he's absolutely right. You know, for 2 seasons, Galladay had, what was it, 6 catches or was it 8?
It was 13 catches across 2 seasons for a combined like 80 yards.
So 13 catches, right? And in those 2 seasons, he made $39 million because it was like 19.6 is what he got per year, right? Is what it broke down to.
Yep.
So you guys literally paid $3 million per catch through 2 seasons. Kudos to Kenny G for getting paid. That's what I got to say. And
keep it up, and you're going to hear this. I hope Jared Goff gets paid.
And that's the other thing I wanted to discuss with you, though, and being realistic, because you're a Giants fan and you've seen this in your regime while struggling with cap and finally getting a little cap room. And they signed a quarterback to more money than he's worth. What has that done for your team?
Going into the offseason before rookies, I think they're sitting at like $48 million. So it drops us to $30 million, which hampers us doing anything really in free agency other than grabbing a few little plug-in pieces here and there. You're not going to get a top-end starter. Plus, it hurts us more for the future years. Be like, if we were to cut him right now, we'd take a $64 million dead cap.
That's going to affect you for 2 years then instead of just 1.
Yep. So we can't cut him this year. We have to wait till at least the end of next year because supposedly there's an out in his contract.
Yeah, next offseason is your out, his 3rd year. It was a 3-year contract.
Exactly. Now, my thing with the entire contract with this guy is we didn't want to give him a 5th-year option. We declined that shit, which would have kept him there for like $21 million, I think it would have been on the 5th-year option.
Didn't want to tag him.
Instead, he has an average year. We went to the playoffs, yes, because you know what? The coaching was better. But at the same time, you're like...
But wait, the real reason the New York Giants won, and you said this, was on the back of Saquon Barkley and that defense.
Yes, but last year, Jones actually had a pretty solid season. He wasn't bad. He was like a 68% completion. He had like almost 4,000 yards passing, almost 1,000 yards rushing. He had like 15 touchdowns to like, I believe it was 7 interceptions, and then he had 7 rushing touchdowns. So statistically, he had a good year. He just didn't get in the end zone a lot there because we were handing the ball off. But at the same time, 1 year in a contract year is bullshit. That's what they all do.
But it technically wasn't his contract year. But like you said, you take that 5th-year option, get him for $22 million, give Saquon Barkley what he wants in a long-term deal, and then renegotiate after the 5th year. That's what should and could have happened, correct?
It should have, but before the season started, they already declined the 5th year. You're like, God damn it.
Yeah, the year before, because you have to do it before the 4th season starts. I know. What I'm saying is when they declined it, I was like, oh, this is going to come back to bite them. Remember, I told you this.
You did. And I honestly told you, I think the plan was they declined that option. They were going to draft a quarterback last year, but they ended up freaking winning games to the point where there wasn't going to be a decent quarterback on our spot. And we didn't win games this year. We got that idiot locked up. What do we do at 6? If a quarterback's there, you have to take one, right?
Yeah, pretty much. So here's my thing. When people say they want to pay Goff 45 to 50 million, and you've already been through this, would you do it if you were the GM?
Hell no. I'm not tying that much cap up into any singular player ever again.
Fly, Eagles, fly. Facebook user, what's up, brother? That sounds almost like a Greg Rice there quote there. I think I personally am at that what Daniel Jones got last year as a ceiling for Goff. Just that $500,000 more. Daniel Jones cap hit last year when you add in the signing bonus and everything was like 40.6. So at 18.2%, which is what Dom and I was talking about last night, 41.2 is the number. That's my ceiling for what I would pay Goff.
Throw in some incentives that if he gets you to the Super Bowl.
Yeah, throw him the incentives and everything else in the back end that hits in the off season and hampers you a little bit going into the next year, not in this season. You do all the back end stuff. If he hits 4,500 plus yards, he gets X amount of millions. If he takes you to the NFC Championship game, he gets X amount. If he makes the Super Bowl, he makes this amount. If he's an all-pro, I don't care about Pro Bowl voting. I have said it a million times. The franchise tag is more than 41 million.
And we don't need to tag him or sign him technically right now. He still has one more year on his contract. He's just trying to free up some stuff.
Yep. Well, we only need one guy off the offensive line to sign right now, and it's really Graham Glasgow. The way Jonah Jackson has played. When he's played, he's been great. The problem is the when he played part. He only played 7 games this season. He missed a lot of time. He's been in and out of the lineup, and I'm tired of hampering our O-line. Frank Ragnow has
Isn't
not
Vitae
been
back?
Vitae is not back. He has not been back since game 1 of the season. He hurt his back again in game 2 at the beginning of the Seahawks game. He's gone.
No, I mean, isn't he back for next year though? Like, is he still on the roster, or is this his final year of his contract?
This was the final year, but they restructured him to clear up enough room, along with Romeo Aquara, for this year. That way, they can get rid of both of them in the next offseason this year.
Oh, we got you.
I think it's going to clear up like somewhere between 6 and 13 million, cutting them to, and bye.
You missed
Julian
the
Aquara
there.
No, just bye. It ain't a Felicia thing. Both of them had great games while they were on the field, but both of them missed way too much time over the last 3 seasons. So I'm at the bye. It's not because they were like a bum. It wasn't like the difference we saw between the 100% zone year and the 60%. Jeff Haley, yeah, that's a great signing. Steve is real. That is a great signing for the Green Bay Packers. Jeff Haley of Boston College is a good defensive coordinator. He should do well there. By proxy and accident, he should be better than Joe Barry. Merry Christmas, Packer fans. You got a DC.
Now let's just hope the Packers let Jair walk.
Oh, they should. He's injury prone. Fragile.
And he clearly don't want to be there.
And you don't want to be there. He didn't play like he wanted to be there. I'm not trying to be a dick. I'm saying what I see in just doing my whole thing.
JB, let me ask you this question. I know we talked about this before, but I kind of want to get our little viewers' opinion on this thing too. Aaron Glenn, as your defensive coordinator, a guy who was, top end freaking defensive back in the league. Why is that the one position that he can't seem to develop?
I don't know.
Anybody in the chat got any?
Okay, that's fine. But Jair hasn't stayed healthy for the last 2 seasons. He's missed time and hurt your team overall. And that's what I see. Like you've been real with my team and what you said you've seen and what you're doing. I'm I'm just saying what I see. And it might have been because of Joe Barry is why he was doing it. Franchise tagging Goff isn't an option this year because he's actually under contract for 32.5, which is, hey, guess what? This is what I'm saying if I'm Brad Holmes. And don't get me wrong. You're under contract this year. Yes, you got us to the NFC Championship game. Yes, we failed to win. The goal was the Super Bowl. So therefore, you want to get paid? Get us there. And we'll give you the moon. I'll throw in some extra incentives at the end of the season if you get us there to get you the money you wanted. But I'm not paying you that much money right now. That's where I'm at with it. Is there any guys in their 5th-year options for the Lions? No. The guy that would have been in his 5th-year option for the Lions is slated to be a free agent from Atlanta. That was Jeff Okudah.
Hey, he's a man guy. You guys run a lot of man. You should go get Jeff Okudah back. He would have been better than Vildor. Okay, he would have.
Then who?
Vildor.
Not really.
Sure he is. His head's big enough that ball would have bounced further and Ayuk wouldn't have been able to catch it.
No, he's a little taller. It would have hit him in the chin and it might have bounced past him and then somebody else catches it and runs it right in. So I'm no.
Let's go Okudah.
And now
I actually really like Okudah, though. You know that.
I know. I loved Okudah's speed. I loved his size, his length. He had everything going from him, but he had the skills of, well, a bum.
When they were running the man coverage, though, there, the first half of the season, the guy looked great.
Yeah, while we were losing.
Yeah,
because everybody else
AG switches it up.
I know.
They just switch it up, and then he's the weak link. It's like, come on.
I know. Well, he got hurt and missed a few weeks. It was a double whammy. He didn't get to practice while we were making the transition to the zone because he was hurt, and then he got sick. I think he had like a minor sprain, and then he got sick and missed 2 weeks due to the flu because there was that nasty flu going around that year.
Yep.
And then he comes back, and all of a sudden he can't defend anymore because we're in zone coverage, and he's a press man coverage corner. That's somebody the Giants should consider for their CB2. You guys run a lot of man.
Well, I don't know what the hell we're going to run yet because of the firing of Wink Martindale.
Yeah.
But with him, yes, they ran. All the Giants ran with him. They ran man coverage, blitz 0. They blitz more than anybody. It was ridiculous.
And don't get me wrong, AG is a leader of men. The guys love him. That's why he was voted the most liked defensive coordinator in the league between offensive and defensive coordinators. But at the same time, if you're a defensive coordinator and you're the most liked coordinator in the league, that means the offenses that torch the fuck out of you liked you too. That's just my take on it. Because most offenses don't like any defensive coordinators. You hardly ever see a defensive coordinator win that award at the end of the season. Usually it's an offensive coordinator. One thing I know about the Packers, they bring guys and draft guys and no one ever thinks of or heard of, and Steve, you say that. You may not have heard of those guys, but I heard of every single one of those guys you drafted last year. I watched Jaden Reed, and I had a day 3 pick on him, and I'm glad he proved me and the Packers right by taking him, because they let us trade up to get Branch, and you guys took Jaden Reed. I'd rather have Branch. Yes.
Yeah, I think I still would rather have Branch because he's probably the best defensive player in that draft, not named Jalen Carter.
Jalen Carter isn't even going to get defensive rookie of the year now because, well, who ran his defense for the last half of the season? And he
Some fat
disappeared.
shitbag with a pencil.
Yeah. Pencil boy. Oh, I love the new D lineman coach. He actually worked under Dan Campbell because when he was the interim head coach at Miami, and I think for a brief stint before he went to the Titans, he was with the Saints on that coaching staff. So he's familiar. Dan Campbell got his guy, and I'm not talking about a yes guy. And he's also a run game coordinator as a defensive lineman coach. I find that a little odd, but at the same time, if he's helping you game plan against a good front seven that's good against the run, I think that's biggest problem with AG is playing the secondary, not playing the secondary to their strength. Sutton had a 4.52 40. Wide receivers burned him a lot. I get he's not not a cornerback. Oh yeah. The Sutton had to be our cornerback one because Mosley got hurt as soon as he got back to the field. That is the biggest take and the only right take you have to have. He was CB1 because there wasn't anybody better on the team. And it was throw him out there, let him cover the one receivers, and whatever happens, happens. I understand Fred Peterson, but that had to be what we had to do. He was our best guy. Had nothing to do with scheme or anything else. It's because the guy that was better than him never stayed healthy. That's what hurt the Lions defense the most is Mosley playing 2 snaps. Again, about that D line coach. If you coach a good D line and you're a run game coordinator, you're probably going to be good at scheming a running back through a good defensive line. It looks like Von Doom froze.
No,
Oh
I
no.
was reading.
Oh, looked like you fell asleep.
Oh. If it didn't sound like there was a tractor in the background, I didn't fall asleep.
Okay. Now, let's go to the thing I love to do. These are my targets by position in the order I think they are of importance for the team. You guys can take it or leave it with a grain of salt. And that but at the same time, everything on this roster is better in the secondary than what we had the last 2 years. The passing defense should have been better. Defensive tackle to me, getting a guy that is a bruiser next to Aleem, that should be number 1. Left end, somebody to help create pressure opposite Hutch is number 2. 2 cornerbacks, whether it's both in the draft, both in free agency, or one of each, we need it. We need an actual CB1. So I want a vet. I want somebody out of free agency. I'm thinking like either a Dory Jackson or a Chidori Awuriye from the Bengals. They both would be miles better than what we have on our roster. A left guard, because I don't think we're re-signing Jonah. He's missed too much time, and he's been an All-Pro and a Pro Bowl both years. I think he's going to garner too much money, and he'll make more money in free agency. A backup center, an actual backup center. Kicker.
Kicker's
Somebody that
number
can-
one.
We need a kicker that can kick from over 50 yards and be more accurate than a strong wind at a Taylor Swift concert. And we're going to need another QB. We need another QB. The reason why, I don't know why Brad Holmes and Dan Campbell love to bring these practice squad cockroaches back, but every year our third QB on the practice squad is either Tim Boyle or David Blau, and I'm sick of seeing them. You know what? EQ coming to Detroit as a wide receiver 4 wouldn't be bad. I personally don't want to see us re-signing Josh Reynolds. He's 28, going to be 29 years old. He's at that point when they start losing a step in their hands. I just the two guys in the draft that I want, and I'll take them anywhere between the 5th and 7th rounds. Harold Mevis or Josh Carte. Harold Mevis is out of Missouri. That offense was so bad, they literally won because he kicked 6 field goals in a game. One of them being 61 yards.
Dude.
I don't care about free agents. I really don't.
Kickers?
Nope. I want rookie. I want cheap. I want him here for 4 years minimum. I'm trying to save cap room for the positions that matter.
I have an argument on this here. Now, if you have a kicker that can kick over 50,
and he freezes.
55 or 6
You froze that whole take.
Yeah, my shit's stupid today. Nick Folk, though, from the Titans, right? He's 29 to 30 on field goals this year, 5 or 6 from over 50. He's not even close to the top end of that. You could probably get him for like the 3 to 4 million range. You have a guy that you feel comfortable with being able to kick 50. We're not having this conversation at all right now.
Wait. Okay. Harold Mevis literally had to kick 6 field goals, and none of them were less than 45 yards, and one of them was 61 yards to win a game for Missouri. I'll take that.
I don't trust.
I'll take that over. You may not trust rookie kickers, but guess what? Moody beat us. He may have been one. No, he missed one in that game.
That's what I'm saying. Like, he missed 2 in that game, not 2 individually, but 2. I need like a thought bubble here that can just write out what I'm saying, so you can understand where I'm going with it. Sometimes
he missed 1 of 2. There you go. I think that's what you meant.
Yes.
Yeah, but he missed the closer one. That's what was stupid.
He was trying to help out the home team.
He should have did it one more time. God damn it. There are a lot of wide receivers in the draft this year. I see less on the D-line as far as end talent in the draft. So I think we have to address, if we're going to get an all-around defensive end to play and then keep Houston as a situational pass rusher, we kind of have to address it in free agency as well. I think that's our 2 big moves in free agency, is left end and a corner. Everything else can be addressed through the draft. Defensive tackles, it's deeper at defensive tackle than it is at D end in the draft. And I like a lot of the guys in that early to mid day 2, even some of the day 3 guys from small schools, they're great. Yes, a kicker. Please get a 50-plus yard kicker. I agree, JB. Josh Reynolds was great, but his age is catching up with him. Let's get Hansen to come out of retirement and put his walker away. Sign him. There are a lot of wide receivers. Do you see that Brad is using a draft pick on a wide receiver like in the 4th round? I think, well, look, we still don't know what we have with Antoine Green. because he never got to build a rapport with Goff. I want to see what Antoine Green does in preseason with a guy that can throw the ball 50-plus yards. I think Brian Burns is going to end up getting franchise tagged because he's too good of a talent for Jacksonville to let walk out the building. Or Carolina, excuse me.
I think it's pretty much in place so that he's gone there, is what they were saying last week.
Oh, he's gone? Well, if he's there and he's not asking for $30 million a year, I'd consider it. If he's asking $30 million a year, kick rocks. You only got $40 million to spend after rookie cap.
Hey! You made the Final Four though, so you can go over the cap.
To an extent. Is Brett on Facebook? Yes, he is. Brent, he is actually a part of my. He joined my page, I think, about a week ago. The Motor City Kneecap Biters. Speaking of which, we're going live into the Lions Villain Squad. Motor City Kneecap Biters. Detroit Lions on the prowl. Main event 3 football talk 365. And of course, kneecap biting with the Motor City Lions and Twitter. Working on TikTok and Instagram next. We're going to be everywhere, bitches.
Yep. JB, now, for an edge, I was saying to you last night, I like the possibility of AJ Epinesa from Buffalo.
Yeah,
they can't re-sign anybody out there.
Right. They
are in Saints S cap hell.
Everybody is like going back and forth. Let me see where everybody's watching from. I'll tell you right now. One person's on my channel, on my Twitter. 4 people are watching on my YouTube channel. 7 are watching on Football Talk 365. 9 people are watching on the Villain Squad. Kudos to all you. You know what? That's just going to show me where I'm going to start broadcasting more from. King SJ's here. I'm real excited about where we're going. And Dan Campbell's exactly right. This was our easiest. He didn't say it was our only shot. This was our easiest shot to get to the Super Bowl when we blew it. Because we were already there. Ahead of schedule. And we were punching them in the mouth in the first half. And if anybody says that the offensive lulls of the third quarter don't mean anything, go back and watch that game. Go back and watch every game for the past 2 seasons. The only time we scored in the third quarter more than 3 times in a season was in that last 7-game stretch after we fired Anthony Lynn.
Yep.
The only game we didn't score in the third quarter was the game when Jared Goff was sick.
Yep. Dude, like everybody's saying that the offense wasn't the problem. They're trying to blame the defense there. But you got to think, with how quick they were going 3 and out, and then the freaking turnovers there, your defense was right back on the field. So, of course, the defense is going to look bad and take the blame on that. The first half of that game, it was pound that rock with Monty, pound the rock, and then like Gibbs on the outside. They completely got away from the running and just wanted to keep passing and passing and passing. And that's something that freaking Ben Johnson has systematically done all year.
And that is why I said what I said. It wasn't because I said fire Ben Johnson. Do not put words in my mouth. I never said that. I just said because of the third quarter woes through 2 seasons, and this season that actually looked worse than last season. And the statistics back that up. No, what needs to stop happening is until they stop what's working, don't change it at halftime. We ran for 148 yards in the first half and ended the yards with 168 yards rushing. You don't think that's a problem?
I 100% do. And they came out and they they had no heart in the third half. It's like they relaxed at halftime instead of getting hyped up more.
Right.
Where the hell's Dan Campbell yelling at them at halftime?
And then AG, the defense does the same exact thing. That first two quarters, we were pressuring, we were covering. Debo wasn't a big factor in that first half, and Christian McCaffrey didn't have a great half either. His half came in the second half. We changed the way we played. We stayed in a base defense, doing a soft zone coverage, putting the only guy that was in man coverage was Sutton because he's our best corner and he's the only one that could possibly do it. But if the front seven doesn't get pressure, I don't care who's in your secondary. If they're trying to cover for 5 seconds, they can't do it. And there goes Dan with the customary Wi-Fi, Walmart Wi-Fi freezing.
What happens when you hook up to the neighbor's Wi-Fi, right?
Right. That's exactly what I'm saying. We went pass, run, all 3 drives. And the one drive we didn't even run it once. It was we went pass, run, pass, run, and then pass on those 3 failed drives in the third quarter. So we ran the ball twice and threw the ball 7 times in 3 drives on those 3 and outs. That's not winning football. Oh, you moved a little. You're not froze.
No, I'm not froze.
Okay, good. I love this team. I love the direction we're going. I love the head coach. I mean, I wouldn't have named my podcast after his speech if I didn't love this coach. And what's crazy is if you're in Michigan and you're not subscribed to the channel and you go to YouTube the first time, you search kneecap biting, I'm the first or second thing that comes up anymore. And I think that's music. Sarah Young, I actually have a better take than that. We played the second half like we were trying not to lose instead of trying to win. And the 49ers played the second half like they were trying to win. That's what I saw. But it was awful. And by the time the third quarter ended, we were trying to make a comeback. I will say that. You know, I love these little blue and silver coffee mugs I get at Dunham's. It may be Black Rifle Coffee Company, but the colors are right.
Pretty close.
Yeah, Sarah, I hope I see some that ball hitting Vildor in the face mask will haunt me forever. Oh my God. It was the unluckiest lucky break for any team I've ever seen.
Probably. Yeah.
The only catch that I know that was luckier than that catch was the one that skipped off of a defensive lineman, off of a linebacker to a skipping Azir Hakim in the early 2000s for the Lions. It was versus the Arizona Cardinals to win that game. I remember that because he's skipping across the back of the end zone, and the ball literally went. It's one of Jerry
Brent, I'm
Herring's.
traditional like you.
You know, we may not be wanting to go for it on 4th downs. Ricky said it backs me up. It was versus the Cards. I remember that because it went off of their. I can't remember who the defensive lineman it was. It skipped off his helmet. The linebacker swatted it, and it tipped off his finger. And Oz just was like, boop, here I am, skipping across, looking like a fruity little schoolgirl. But those are my targets. So that's where my scouting is going to be focused on this year. My scouting reports that I write. D tackle, left end, cornerbacks, left guard, backup center, kicker, and quarterback. I think that's where we're at for this season. So let's see, that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 positions to fill with 15 spots to fill them with. We have 38 on the roster, people. Exactly, Brent. We do need a better kicker. He doesn't trust them because I'll tell you what, I'm going to go through the statistics of Badgley outdoors, not at Denver or in a dome. And it's actually pretty telling on why they didn't go for it. Since it appears we have some folks in here who question that the Lions, Michael Badgley is a solid kicker from in a dome from moderate distance. However, he is 69% on field goals over 40 yards. Kicking outside, he is 65% over 40 yards. Okay. When kicking outside and not at Denver, he's 61%. On 4th and 3 or less this season alone, Detroit was 18 to 21 at 86% and 2 touchdowns. Why did they cut Riley Patterson? Because he came up hurt after the kickoff. He kicked off the one that we wanted to go short to eat time off the clock versus a game. I think it was Minnesota the first time when Kirby took out TJ Hawkinson's knee. It wasn't a dirty hit, but he did take it out. And they kind of hurt him on the kickoff. You might end up with 14 picks instead of 11. So we got 15 spots to fill on this roster to make a team. We did re-sign a lot of guys off the practice squad. One of them not being Zach Ertz, which concerns me, but I think that's because they're going to sign him to the active roster. Ricky, I love the comment. Oh, I got to put that up. Read that, everybody.
I don't think you're wrong.
I didn't even catch that he got hurt. Either way, I think Campbell goes for it, even if the kicker was Jesus himself. But our reserve future signings from off the practice squad, we brought back Maurice Alexander, Mitchell, a guide, I believe, a Goudet or guide or whatever it is. God, it's hard to read this stuff. Matt Barniuk, Jake Funk is back, and that's good. Connor Galvin's back. Craig James. I'm going to skip 2 names and save them for last, and then I'll tell you why. Brandon Joseph, Michael Neese, and defensive tackle out of Notre Dame, Chris Smith. No offense to you, Steve, but that is Notre Dame. The last 2, I swear to God, if a nuke dropped on Detroit, the only thing that would survive is cockroaches, Twinkies, and these 2 players, Jameer Jefferson and Tom Kennedy.
Hey, leave Tom Kennedy out of this. That man's a national treasure. I love Tom Kennedy, dude.
I do too, but I'm not wrong. He's a short white guy that's not fast, can't jump, but yet stays on the goddamn roster somehow every year.
So he's Julian Edelman. That's what I'm getting.
But shorter. Believe it or not, Julian Edelman at least was 5'9". Tom Kennedy, I think, is 5'7".
Okay, he's still willing to do the dirty work, though.
You know what else? He also has a better deep ball than Goff.
He does.
Scott Young just wanted to say, good morning, brother. It's one day close to the start of the Detroit Lions 2024 season. Trying to stay positive. Let's go Lions. Oh, I'm staying positive. I like making fun of it because you know what happens if you dwell too much on the negative? You become negative.
You're a Cowboy fan.
No, Cowboy fans so fucking positive. As soon as the season ends, all right, let's go next year. It's our year, boys.
Yep. Fuck the Cowboys too.
I know you hate the Cowboys, but you know what? Those 2 pairs of shoes I posted on Facebook and Reels. Exactly, Brent. Nobody covers Tom because he's short, slow, short, and white. I would love to see DPJ become the next Josh Reynolds of this team because he has that Khalif Raymond punt return ability with him. He's also a good gunner. Hey, Sarah, I don't even want to hear that we kept the choking consistent because guess what? If we were the Minnesota, we wouldn't have made it out of the. If we were choking as bad as Minnesota, we wouldn't have made it out of the wild card round.
Hey, but you know what? At least she didn't just put it out there and say like zone in just on the Lions there. She said NFC North in general.
Yeah, I'll give her some credit there. Hey, and how about Jordan Love might be the next Aaron Rodgers because he choked versus San Francisco just like Rodgers did. I can't help it. I got to throw them out there. I've had a lot of Packer fans giving us Lions fans crap. It's my turn. Brent, I agree, JB. I don't want to give up on DPJ. He wasn't targeted a lot because the first game he had a few drops, and that was because the hey Jay, watch it. I knew it was coming. Well, think about it, Steve. I want to put this in perspective for you and why I say that. Jordan Love, he's from the Bay Area, the same county as San Francisco. He went to a West Coast Pac-12 school. And he might be a closet 49er fan.
Yeah, but how is his experimentation into hallucinating drugs going though? Has he got that far into the Aaron Rodgers likeness yet?
We'll find out this offseason.
Yep. See if he turns the lights back on at all.
All I know is that if there's a darkness retreat and Jordan Love is invited by Aaron Rodgers, all you have to look for is see if there's crusty white stuff near the edges of his mouth when he comes out of there.
He hated the Packers. God knows I do.
Oh, it was Utah State. Okay. Hey, you know I got to do that, Steve. You guys are my favorite sponsor, FTP. What's it mean, Leonard?
Fuck the Packers. Oh, and fuck the Packers. And on Fridays, like it is today. Fuck the Packers.
No.
Except it's Thursday, isn't it?
Yeah, it's Thursday. Good try.
Dude. When you don't sleep, the days just kind of go like this.
Karen Rodgers is plucking mushrooms from moldy cheese.
There's something wrong with that, Brent?
No, there isn't. Hey, while the rest of the North was sitting at home while the Packers and Bears was in the Lions, I believe they were in the basement watching on that 85-inch Sony TV that we put up there. I say that on purpose because the Bears was the basement. Much better. I sent in you. Cry like bitch you should. That being said, I want to give a shout out to my real sponsor, Gloss Negron, #1 window tinner in Saginaw. Give him if you're in Michigan, you need window tinting done. That's the guy to see, especially before the hot summer gets here, because the last thing you want is your ass melted to a leather seat. 989-443-9240. Give him a call, schedule your appointment. He also does auto detailing, and I know after the winter, I got to get my car detailed because that salt is a motherfucker in the carpet. All right, let's go up a cup. But you guys didn't make it further than us. We've been to a Super Bowl. Just see, not since the 70s.
I'm a
No,
Giants fan, so I'm pretty sure I made it further.
Brent told you, no, there's nothing wrong with it. I used to do it. LOL. Picking the mushrooms out of moldy cheese. Best game of my life was at Lambeau Field this past season when we put the whooping on them. I'll never forget it. You know what? It was the greatest game to watch. Seeing all that Honolulu blue. There was more Lions fans in the stands than there was Packer fans in Lambeau Field. It will since we've won the last 3 times we've been there. That is now Ford Field North until it's been taken back by the Packers. Take that, Steve.
That's what you get.
You guys have been great, but real soon it's going to be live with Russell and Main Event Mike. They got their Thursday show. I appreciate every single one of you coming on here first thing in the morning. There's 13 watching. I got 6 likes. Man, smash the like button, people. You ain't saying you got to pretend like you're Randy Man Macho Savage or some shit. But, woo! You could go Ric Flair. And remember, Yoda always said it best. There is no try, only do, and do you will. Yeah, there was 65% Lions fans in Green Bay. Well, have a great day, everybody. Try every day to be a better person than you were the day before. That's the only way to make the world a better place. I love all of you. Even if you are fans of another teams, the fact you watch us, I love it. Because you know what? There's not a lot to talk about in the offseason until free agency hits on March 13th. But guess what? I'm still going to be here every day. Y'all talk shit, I'll talk shit back. I don't care about history anymore. I'm done with the history part. Have a great day, everybody. Peace, love, and chicken grease.